Welcome back. We are on WeDAP. This is WeDAP episode number 25.
The intensity in those eyes. Wow. I got a little scared for a second.
I didn't look over till the end, and I was like,
Just wanted to bring out the American Psycho, just to get everyone hyped.
it was pretty
Wow.
intense, man.
Yeah,
It was good.
You know, welcome. I'm gonna try and, calm down a little bit. But this is Danny. I'm on the channel now. That's David. He's been on the channel. That's there, Frank.
I mean, at this point, you've been on the channel.
Yeah.
It's
I've
like
been on
a
the channel.
minute already.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has.
One day I'll accept that I'm actually part of the channel.
Yeah.
At some point.
I think you're just trying to keep one's foot out of the door in case you have to be like,
Yeah.
all right, guys, I'm out here.
So see ya.
That's kind of funny in particular because today we're bringing back an oldie, Unprepared and Unresearched, and
That's
I'm
right.
almost positive you're the one that came up with that name.
I did.
I'm pretty
I
sure.
think
that was
you
you.
pointed it out because I just
Really?
said it like in context of the episode. Like
Yeah.
somebody just
you had
says,
said it in an episode, and Danny was like,
Hey,
"That
that's
should
the
be the
perfect
title."
name,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a great title.
Well, my legacy goes past who I am.
man.
So
I think this is the
great.
first one you've been a part of, maybe.
Yeah, this is the first UU.
I'm
Come
gonna
on.
print up a poster. It's a picture of you in black and white that says, "My legacy is past who I am." Daniel Bonilla.
Some sage advice.
We can hang it right back here somewhere. It'll be nice. Well, yeah, I got something prepared for you guys.
Yeah.
Really
Alright.
excited about it.
Let's lay it down.
Oh, and before you dive all the way in case you don't know, I mean, you've been watching the show for a long time. Unprepared and Unresearched is where one of us is very prepared and very researched, and the other two have no idea what he's going to talk about.
Or sometimes moderately prepared.
Well, today Frank has printed handouts. It looks like he put in some work.
Today
here.
is one of the more prepared ones for
Wow,
sure.
I'm
Like,
excited.
At this day and age, anyone that brings a hard copy to any meeting
Yeah.
is thoroughly more prepared.
That's
technically, I left my hard
business.
copy at home, and then I had to hard copy another copy when I got here.
Well, that's fair enough.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
You're kind of prepared.
Yeah, mostly, right?
Yeah.
So originally, I had an idea of what I wanted to do for this episode,
Okay.
and we're still talking about that, but I wanted to talk about prison.
Okay.
It's a
Tight.
topic I enjoy very much, just learning about. It's like a crazy, like, other world within our world, you know what I mean?
Trying to build a
More
prison.
specifically, prison escapes.
Oh, cool,
Super
man.
fun.
I like this.
And we've had prison escape stuff on the channel before. If you haven't watched our A Way Out video, don't watch it. This isn't a plug. Just don't watch it. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, so
It was
that's
a
why
bad
you
game.
sold it.
Check out the review. Don't watch the gameplay footage.
Yeah, I was telling David we should put it in the background, and then I remember he sold it immediately
yeah.
after we were done playing it.
Is the Game of Thrones game next?
That game is better.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I had more
Oh,
fun
you
in the
did
Game
say
of
that
Thrones
when we
game.
Yeah,
finished
when-
that
yeah, when we were
broadcast. You're
recording
like,
it.
this was bad, but
It wasn't a way out bad.
A Way Out was not good.
I don't even know this game, so
Yeah.
I don't think I want to.
Well, there's
at this
also
point.
the fact that we planned on beating the whole thing. So
Wow.
we committed to like 6 or 7 hours of recording this game,
Wow.
and it was painful.
Yeah,
Ooh, that
it really
sounds
was
awful.
painful. That's the best way to describe that experience. So even more specific, I wanted to talk about this gentleman named Pascal Payet.
Okay.
And the way he
name.
escaped prison. And upon doing my research, trying to dig into this a little bit more, I wanted to give you like his early life and stuff. And I learned a little bit of that. I discovered that escaping prison on a helicopter is not as rare as I originally thought it was,
Interesting. Okay.
which is a big surprise to me.
I thought that was only a Hollywood thing.
No. Would you gentlemen like to guess? And I'm sure there's some that I couldn't find, but would you like to guess how many helicopter prison escapes I found in my research?
You want to go first? You go first.
Oh, that's a cheap move. 62.
That's a pretty high guess.
61.
Well, you both lose 47.
I was gonna say, Danny. At that point, he should have been like 20 or something.
Well, I was doing the Price is Right technique.
Did not pay off on this one.
Yeah.
47 attempted escapes from prison on a helicopter.
Wow.
34 of which were successful, which
Wow.
is insane.
That's a great success rate.
Yeah.
That's.
Pretty amazing.
I mean, if anything, it just says you should do that. That's like the most successful prison escape.
so of course I ended up reading about a whole bunch of these, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh my God, everybody's doing this. Like, forget digging out with a spoon. Like, just get a helicopter,
Okay.
fly your way out of there. It seems to be the best way to do it.
Super
So we're going to talk about some of these helicopter prison
Okay.
escapes today, guys.
Cool.
Got some tales to tell you.
I'm all about that.
And we're going to start off with the first person to ever pull it off, the Trailblazer, in 1971. That was our earliest recorded helicopter prison escape on the books.
I feel like helicopters had to be pretty new at that point.
Yeah, it's like
fresh,
10
man.
years old,
Yeah.
if that, from Vietnam.
Might as well take advantage of the new technology. Let's
you
do
go.
this. Joel David Kaplan was convicted of the murder of the November 61 murder of Luis Melchior Vidal Jr. This guy was the unofficial business agent of the Dominican Republic, and he was also the godson of the former ruler of the Dominican Republic, who was murdered just a few months earlier in May the same year. If you don't know about the CIA, the CIA likes to spread democracy.
Oh, yeah.
But they like to do it by low-key killing rulers and replacing them with somewhere else.
Their guy.
This was one of those situations, you know.
That's an un-American idea, Frank. I won't stand
It's
for
a
it.
very American idea. Joel David Kaplan and this gentleman Vidal were in cahoots together. They had conspired together to act as armed merchants on behalf of the CIA to funnel like guns and money into the South America, do a bunch of low-key stuff.
Secret wars.
Yeah. And Rafael Trujillo, who was the previous ruler, was actually murdered by a CIA weapon. Go figure.
Wow.
It's funny how that works sometimes, right, guys? So they discovered Vidal's body. They decided it was Joe David Kaplan. Let's see. Sorry, I got lost. I was like too excited. They were doing this through shell companies. Well, they were actual like functioning companies. The American Sucrose Company. Kaplan actually comes from a long line of like molasses kings.
Okay.
Like it's a very like sweet empire they've built, like off of the sugar.
Wow.
Yeah, like molasses.
A slow
in your
building
mouth.
empire.
Yeah, slow building empire indeed. So he gets imprisoned for the murder of this dude. His sister Judy Kaplan is trying to like apply to the consulate. She's trying to appeal, trying to get him out. Nothing's working. So in 1971, Judy Kaplan had hired a helicopter to fly into the prison and just lands that thing in the yard.
Wow.
The guards, because like at this point nobody had done this before, the guards were like, oh, I guess like somebody from high up has come to pay a visit. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
this person's supposed to be
everybody
here.
make sure your ties are on straight.
Yeah.
Like we're about to get inspected. So nobody does anything. You know what I mean? Everybody's just like in their spots. Within 2 minutes, Kaplan and his cellmate, whose name was Carlos Antonio Contreras Castro, who was a counterfeiter from Venezuela,
Wow.
are on the helicopter flying to Texas within 2 minutes of them landing in the yard. They're just
Wow.
gone. Or they just get out of there. You know
What
what
prison
I mean?
was this in already?
This was the prison's name was Santa Marta Acatitla. It's a prison in Mexico City.
Wow.
So it was like a federal prison in
Yeah.
Mexico. They just flew in,
Wow.
flew out, get out of there.
Wow.
They fly themselves to Texas, and then the two men separate. Kaplan gets on a plane to California, and the Venezuelan counterfeiter Castro flies to Guatemala. And I couldn't find anything about him, but like Mexico never tried to apply for extradition on Kaplan.
Wow.
The prison break inspired the 1975 Charles Bronson and Robert Duvall film Breakout. Kaplan and his pilot made a surprise appearance on the set of the film, and during this visit, while they were watching this scene
dumb.
of them, like, yeah, right? Well, like, I don't know. We'll get to that. We'll definitely
Wow.
get there. So, yeah, the pilot and Kaplan show up on set, and they're filming the scene where they're like the actual like prison break. And they're watching like these jeep loads of like cars chasing after these guys. Jeep loads of like Mexican police officers.
Jeep loads of cars.
Jeep loads of cars. Yeah. Jeep loads of police officers just firing bullets at these guys, just rain of bullets.
Wow.
And the pilot was noted as saying that day, like it was way more terrifying watching this scene than it was that day, because like literally not a single shot was fired like during the prison escape.
Oh,
it was
okay.
just the easiest peasiest
It was
thing in the world.
Hollywood effect.
Yeah,
Wow.
total Hollywood effect. Like they literally just flew in, they ran out, hopped on the helicopter, and they flew out of there. It was that easy.
And then Mexico was like, wait.
Aye.
Wow.
So
I miss
Kaplan and the CIA both denied any involvement of like Kaplan on the CIA's behalf in any of the espionage happening in South America. They are adamant, like, no, we never met each other.
Wow.
But Kaplan has been living incognito ever since. That was like the first sighting of him like since the incident, and he hasn't like said anything or been seen since.
Wow.
He's just like ghost man.
Is he still alive?
I would assume like he could totally be. You know
I guess
what I
we
mean?
don't know. Yeah,
Might be dead. Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. Things are different when you work for the CIA.
he could be Robert Duvall. Dun, dun.
But yeah, that was the first guy to pull it off, and he pulled it off swimming.
Wow.
Pretty incredible to think that just an escape could go that easy.
Right?
Well, it sounds like it's for sure a CIA thing, though, especially if the guy's never been heard from again.
Yeah.
It's got CIA written all over it.
Just scrubbed him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like in my research, they were saying like there was no legal pursuit like on either side of the border, like for this guy.
CIA,
Right?
case closed.
Wow.
This next one I've titled 3 Men and a Lady. On December 19th, 1985, which is exactly 5 years before the day I was born. One murderer, James Rodney Leonard, and 2 armed robbers, William Douglas Ballow and Jesse Glenn Smith, fled Perry Correctional Institute in Pelzer, South Carolina on a helicopter with a pilot and a woman who had hijacked the helicopter, and she was armed with a semi-automatic pistol.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was a pretty heavy helicopter at this point.
Yeah.
The helicopter was actually only intended for 3 passengers, and it's reported that they barely made it over the main fence. There were a few other occupants. There were a couple other prisoners who had been on the helicopter who were either
just trying to
pushed off or
pile on.
jumped
Yeah.
off because they were like, hey,
wow.
we're not making it off the ground. Like, this thing's not meant to have this much weight on it.
Oh,
so you
man.
imagine, like, almost pulling it off, and imagine if they just clipped the gate and then just went down
died.
on the other side. Oh, that would have been horrible. The 3 escapees were captured December 23rd. They didn't make it very long.
Wow.
They made it about 4 days after.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one's a super short one. I just thought it was really funny. Like, the mental image of these guys being like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Wow. So was it extra prisoners trying to pile on it also?
Yeah, they were just trying to get everybody
Yeah.
out that they could, and they were like, hey, sorry, guys. Like, this
Very
was really
dumb.
our thing.
Yeah.
Like, you were kind of invited, like, as a courtesy. You got to get out.
Yeah.
Got to get out right now.
Surprised she didn't
What-
put that pistol to work.
What a bummer to get arrested again after escaping in a helicopter.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
that's got to be an exhilarating moment. We did it. We've escaped. And then 4 days later, oh no.
But all that helicopter.
So almost as if social media was a thing to show that even that's just human nature. Like, once the cat is out of the bag and it's out in the universe, just everybody starts hopping on the train. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Because just 12 days later, down in Brazil on December 31st, 1985, there was a Brazilian drug lord by the name of Jose Carlos dos Reis Encina,
What a great name.
who was rescued by one of his associates, Jose Carlos Gregorio, aka Gordo. So I'm imagining this guy was a little bit chunky, so
Big
you
guy.
get the mental image going on your head.
Or very thin.
Yeah, or super thin. That's true, David.
Ah.
That's how nicknames work.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. So Gordo had rented a Bell 47 aircraft, which I imagine is the model of a helicopter, because this
Okay.
is a helicopter escape. But I know very little about helicopters, except for they're apparently a great way to escape from prison.
Throw down the model in the comments.
This might be the biggest sidestep of all time of this podcast, but do you remember in Lizzie McGuire that she had a male friend named Gordo? That always really threw me off. Did you guys ever watch Disney Channel, like Even Stevens and all that?
I definitely watched Even
Yeah.
Stevens.
I don't know if I ever
for
watched
sure have
Lizzie
seen.
McGuire.
I for sure
It
seen
was,
a
it
couple
was always
episodes
just
of
like
Lizzie McGuire.
after, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, whatever. But she had a friend named Gordo, and at the time I was like,
Was he
that guy's
fat?
not fat. No, he's very thin. He's also white.
I have
Because it's
heard.
probably not Gordo. It's
No.
Gordo.
I was
Gordon.
gonna say.
Gordo's
Yeah,
what
that's
they
what I was
call
gonna
him.
say.
Yeah.
I've heard nicknames for Gordon being Gordo.
Yeah,
Maybe that's it.
that's probably what it is, David.
I digress.
They just don't know. That was a nice sidestep, though. I like that.
He has a good sidestep. So he rents this helicopter under the guise of him wanting to buy this plot of land. He needs to go survey it. And while the helicopter pilot is just driving out, thinks he has an easy day at work, he pulls out a gun. He's like, nah, we got to go pick up my homeboy. So
Okay.
they fly over to... Yeah, I knew I got the name of this prison. They fly over to Candido Mendes Penitentiary in Ilha Grande, Rio de Janeiro. That one I didn't
I
have to
love
practice.
that.
I had that
That's a
ready to
nice
go.
spice.
That's good.
Thank you, guys. And they literally just fly in. Homeboy hops on the skiff. They fly out of there. And I read that Encina was recaptured 3 months later in a shootout when they shot him in the head and he died.
Wow.
Ooh, that's recapturing him.
Yeah, that's for sure
We got him.
not getting away again.
Yeah.
They did make it longer than 3 Men and a Lady.
No. Did not make it longer. This next one I've titled Fourth Time's a Charm.
All right.
Is this the fourth one?
I think it is the fourth
No,
one
I think
also.
it's the third one.
No, this is the fourth one.
There were some that happened in between this that like
Oh,
were
yeah.
like
Yeah,
super
yeah, it's true.
interesting. And a lot of I don't think I had any failed ones in here. There's one that I almost put in just because I thought it was really funny. This lady hijacks. She does the typical thing. She hijacks a helicopter on their way to fly to go get her husband out. The pilot feigned that he was having a panic attack and convinced her to like give over the shotgun and the knife. And he was like, I have to land. Like, I'll take you anywhere but the prison. And she was like, cool, take me back to the airport. So the pilot is like holding the intercom button down. And he's just like, fine, I'll take you back to the airport. But you got to be careful because the cops don't know that you don't have your weapons. And we're flying back to the airport right now. And you're unarmed. So then the cops just hid and like waited for her to like run away from the helicopter and they arrested her. That one I thought was pretty funny.
That's pretty awesome. That's a
That's
savvy
rough.
pilot.
Yeah. Yeah, right?
Of course, the irony now is that you've told that one, and now this isn't the fourth one. Now it's the fifth one. But
Well,
I won't get on you for
what are you going to do? It's not on the list, David. It's the fourth one.
That's a good point.
That was a special mention.
Unprepared. Unprepared.
So, on May 26, 1986, Michael Vajor, it's a French name, so you can imagine like how I'm butchering it, had 28 years to serve for attempted murder and armed robbery. So, not a great guy.
Yeah.
This would be his fourth attempt to escape Prison de la Santé, which I think means prison of the health. For when I like saw when I had to translate the page that was originally in French. The career criminal made his way to the roof by threatening guards with a fake pistol that he had carved out of soap and then blackened, and nectarines that he had painted to look like grenades.
Wow.
So he's armed with some soap and some nectarines, and he was able to make his way all the way to the roof. On the top of the jail, Vajor was met by his wife, Nadine. Nadine had been taking helicopter flying lessons under a fake name and then rented a helicopter for a day flight under a fake name.
Wow.
So they had been like putting some work into this.
Yeah.
So imagine the montage. Nadine's out there just like learning how to fly, being really bad at it. And he's there like carving soap and he keeps breaking it in half. You know what I mean? He can't get the black just right. And then it all just comes together perfectly right at the
that's a
end.
great
You know what I
movie.
mean?
That's amazing.
So she just
Power
flies
couple.
in. He hops on. They land in a nearby football pitch, or as we call it, a soccer field.
Yeah.
And then they just get in a car and they fly away, or they drive away.
Oh, that was more interesting.
Vajor was later recaptured and he served the remaining years of his sentence, 17 of which were spent in isolation. So out of
Oh
those
my
28 years, he had
gosh.
17 in isolation, man.
17.
Those
Yeah.
French don't mess around.
Oh, they hit him hard. They were not
don't.
happy
Wow.
about him escaping. You know what I mean?
You know what else is crazy? It turns out that guy's name is David Gordon in Lizzie McGuire. I checked it on my phone right now.
Nice.
So he's Gordo.
I just had to bring that back in there real quick.
No, I'm
in
glad
case
that-
anyone was just like, man, what was
Left
that
on a
guy's
hanger.
name?
Yeah.
Anyone leave the audience?
Or if someone's watching this yelling at the screen, David Gordon.
I got him
You saved us some angry comments there. David. Good job.
from the Lizzie McGuire fan base.
Yeah.
There's a big crossover on our channel.
They're still very alive and active.
You know what? You
rude.
made things even, Steven. And
Ah!
that's been my time on the channel, y'all.
Well done. Yeah, I don't think you're gonna get any better than that, man.
And on a high note.
Oh my god.
All right. So we've had a little fun talking about some like light little helicopter
whirly
escapes.
boys.
But
Wow.
now it's time to get to the man who brought my attention to this in the first place.
okay.
The first time I read about Pascal Payet was in a Cracked article that came out in 2009. It's not that my memory is that good that I remember it coming out like in August 2009. It's just I went and Googled it because I was curious how long ago I had first heard of this guy.
Yeah.
So at this point, it's been about 10 years. You know what I mean? A decade.
Wow.
that
Yeah, awesome.
This guy's just been in the back of my head. Sometimes I just think about him and I'm like, wow,
Pedro.
my goodness.
Yeah.
Pascal, yeah.
Close.
So Pascal Payet is this French criminal. He started his life of crime like very early, just like stealing candy and stuff. He knew he was like, crime was his thing. I think it said from like the age of 12.
Some
He
people
was
are meant for
noticing
it.
that.
man.
Yeah, he said at the age of 12, he was like, yeah, I'm just going to do crimes. That's going to be my thing. You know what I mean? Some people want to be firefighters. Some people want to be doctors. This guy, crime it up. So in his life of crime, Pascal Payet comes across this job, and it's an armored car heist. In the middle of this heist, one of the guards is shot and killed. So Eesh. Got into a little bit of trouble this time. Oops. Not going to look good. He's imprisoned in 1999. The crime took place in 1997 in this French village. Let's see. He escaped from prison on this stint in October 12th, 2001 from a French prison. Nope, didn't get the prison's name on that one. There's too many prisons in this story, to be honest.
Fair enough.
This one's a little bit of a long
There's
one.
too
Fair
many
enough.
prisons in life, to be honest.
So he escapes with one accomplice. His name is Frederick Impoko. On October 18th, just 6 days later, Impoko is captured and brought in for questioning in Paris. Figuring if a good plan worked once, Pascal hijacks a helicopter. No, because he's still free. Just the accomplice got captured. You know what I mean? He's living free.
Man.
Just living free, being bored a little bit. Hijacks a helicopter. And Pascal flies into Leunis prison on April 14th, 2003, just a few years later, and breaks out Frank Perletto, Michael Valero, and Eric Alborio, who were arrested with him back in 1999. So he went back for the homies.
Man, the ultimate homie.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Wow.
He's just like, well, that was way easier than I expected. I'll just do that and get everybody else out.
Wow.
Whoa.
Easy peasy. They were all caught 3 weeks later. Payette was given another 7 years in prison for the second escape, like the one where he busted everybody out,
Okay.
as well as an additional 6 for the previous escape, the original escape. So let's see. At this point, like, not great. Stacking them up.
Good old 13-year sentence.
So, he hasn't even been sentenced at this point, he hasn't even been sentenced for the original crime. You know what I mean? And he's already looking at 13 years.
Whew.
In January 2005, Payette was sentenced to 30 years in prison for the murder of the armored car guard and became one of the most closely surveilled inmates in France. Because this guy's already escaped and then broken into and helped other prisoners escape. So obviously you got to keep an eye on this guy. He was kept in solitary confinement most of the time, and he was never held in the same prison for more than 6 months as a preventative measure. So they're just constantly
That's crazy.
keeping this guy in a room and then just bouncing him around so he doesn't have time to
You
plan.
know, he's too smart to get out of it.
Too smart. Like
That's
at this
amazing.
point, sure thing.
This guy wanted
You're gonna
to
keep
be
this guy
a
in prison, right?
supervillain. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
That's cool.
And just as a supervillain, he's sitting in solitary confinement on July 14th, 2007, and 4 masked men hijacked a helicopter from a French airport, aided by the distraction because July 14th, in case you didn't catch the date, because we speak American, is Bastille Day. Bastille Day, and then I looked this up because one of the articles I was reading mentions it, and it is pretty funny. Bastille Day is a celebration of a turning point in the French Revolution when they stormed Bastille prison. So on the celebration of this day of a prison storming, these 4 masked men hijack a helicopter and they just land directly on the roof of Grass prison during the night shift change. So already distracted, fireworks going off.
Wow.
Hit them right at shift change. People are still stretching. They're like eating their ramen noodles. They're not really paying attention to what's going on. And then you just break this dude out of solitary confinement. The helicopter flies to the Mediterranean coast of France, and the 5 men just flee. And they leave the pilot unharmed. I thought that was kind of nice.
Oh, that is nice.
He was like, I do feel kind of bad about killing that prison guard. But not that bad because he killed a bunch of cops while he was on the run. What are you going to do? Payette was captured in Spain in September 2007 along with 2 of the accomplices and was transferred into French custody in October. He was then imprisoned in a location which has been kept secret for security reasons.
Wow.
You don't need to tell people where he is. You know what I mean?
Man, they go max security on this guy.
That's
Yeah, right?
Crazy.
A year later, he was sentenced to 15 years in prison with no chance of early release for the number of armed robberies and assaults on police officers that occurred during his time evading custody. In April 2011, Payette received an additional 5 years to his sentence for the 2007 escape. In 2012, no, I'm just kidding. That would be ridiculous.
Wow. I mean,
If this guy pulled it off again, that would be nuts. Pascal Payette holds the world record for the most escapes planned by helicopter.
Wow.
Nice. Do you think Guinness gave him a plaque? Do you think it's in his prison cell?
I don't think you get to have Guinness World Record plaques when you're
Maybe right outside it. Maybe like if there's a little sliver
He's married
of a
with
window.
children,
like,
so maybe they have it.
I hope they gave him a.
They don't know where he is.
No. Nobody knows where he is.
You know, at that point,
That's crazy.
when you've got so many years stacked against you, I mean, what's the big deal? Just keep doing more. You know
Might
what I
as
mean?
well.
Like,
Yeah, I guess
you're
in
not
that
gonna live
mindset.
it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got no chance of early release. I do supervillain stuff, man.
Yeah.
You know,
And it
Especially
also
if you get
goes
the
to
mind
show,
for it.
like, treat people how you want to be treated. Pyatt went back for the homies, got locked up again, and his homies were like, you know what, dude?
coming
Pascal's
back
a
for you.
stand-up guy.
Pascal's
We gotta
the
go
dude.
get him.
Yeah,
What if we get arrested? Who's gonna break us out of prison on a helicopter?
us.
No, not us. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. Escaping from
rough.
prison seems
I don't
really
think I'm
hard.
savvy enough to try
just
to
sit
figure
there.
out a helicopter.
I'll just sit there, honestly, and be like, nah. Well, this sucks.
A Way Out should have had a helicopter escape.
Yeah, it would have
I
been way
mean,
more exciting.
It's got a high success rate, I will say.
Yeah, right?
You know,
34
at least in every
out
one
of
of these,
47? That's pretty dope.
they do get out of it. You know what I mean? Like, at least in every one of these stories, they get out of the prison yard. It's just about how they conduct each other afterwards.
Yeah, I guess the key is helicopter be in cahoots with the CIA. That's what we learned today.
Whoa, yeah. If you have the CIA on your side, you can get away with anything
You got that
want.
plot
Anything,
armor.
all of it.
Yeah.
You can get rid of
Plot
anything.
armor, yeah. You're Samuel Tarley when you get the CIA on your side. What was the most recent one you found?
The most recent one was 2018, I'm pretty sure, and it was another Frenchman.
Okay, I
It
was gonna
another
say-
French dude.
Those French in their helicopter.
I was gonna
Dude,
be
the
like-
French are slippery, man.
I'm guessing they've locked this down at this point. Like, hey, let's... Because helicopters are loud, too. You know what I mean? It's got to be hard.
You can hear it coming from miles away,
Yeah.
right?
So how does this keep happening? That's just...
And I'm pretty sure the guy, I didn't include him in my notes just because I was already doing a bunch of stuff, but I'm pretty sure it was 2018, and I'm pretty sure it was like his third prison escape. I don't think they were all by helicopter, but I think this guy's just like super slippery,
Imagine being the guards that let a helicopter get by.
right? I
That's-
was
that's
fired.
a rough day at work.
So fired.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I have seen like in some modern prisons that they'll have like a caged yard. Like they'll have a
Ooh.
top cage over the yard or
Dang.
like steel a gridiron, and I wonder if that's what it's from.
Because helicopters.
Well,
dude.
those are actually prison/bird habitats.
oh, okay.
They have a bunch of
prison
prisons.
aviary.
Yeah, the prisoners take care of the birds. It's like a rehabilitation thing.
Maybe
I've heard
they're
of prisoners being friends with mice before, but
Yeah.
never birds. That's interesting.
Caged bird doesn't fly, Frank.
it gives a whole new perspective to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah. Or the ending of Shawshank. There's a bird in that thing too.
I guess birds in prison go
Yeah.
hand
Doesn't
in
that
hand.
happen in the Green Mile too? Isn't there a bird in the Green Mile?
Maybe there is. There's
I mean,
definitely
in
a
Vietnam,
mouse.
I'm pretty sure they called helicopters birds.
Yeah, whirly
So,
birds.
like, birds, prisoner's best friend.
Birds
Birds.
plus helicopters equals prison. I guess. Oh,
Whirly Boys.
So, have you ever escaped from prison? Let us know in the comments below.
Let us know your exact location.
Payette,
Do you know
are
how
you
to
listening right now?
Do you know how to fly a helicopter? Email us at davidandfrankandbeans@gmail.com.
I'm planning
just in
on going
case
to
we ever
prison.
go to prison.
That's got to be the hardest part, I think.
Finding the
It can't be easy.
Being a helicopter pilot, unless you're
Yeah.
just gonna like stick them up. But the person who learns how to pilot a helicopter, that's not easy.
I mean, determination is the key. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? The thing about prison is like you just have time to just
Yeah.
think and plot.
If you got the focus
And carve a fake gun out
and
of
the
soap.
attitude and the
that
discipline,
one was
you'll get
pretty
out of prison.
incredible.
True.
This man, like, hoaxed everyone.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It was like
I feel like that's my
100%
That's
bluff.
like that's pretty
It's
amazing.
so good.
That's for the Nadine and whatever the
Yeah,
man's
Nadine
name was.
and what's his name?
And I'm hoping that he
Call that
like
again.
threw the soap and the tangerines out, like
Right?
just so they could find it and like know.
Or as he's on the helicopter,
Yeah.
he's just looking at the guards, just like scrubbing the gun on it. So-
Getting the
Oh,
suds
you know, it was
going.
Nadine and Michelle, and they were also French. So we also learned today the French king of prison escapes.
Ingenious
man.
people.
Good on you, Frenchman.
Impressive.
Parkour.
Parkour.
Parkour. Is that French?
I'm pretty sure.
I feel like it's. I don't know.
Well,
I
Frank,
feel like parkour is French.
I gotta say, I think you knocked it out of the park, man. I love
That
me some
was.
prison.
Yeah.
We should do this more often. We should get into this.
Let's do
Guys.
it, man.
Yeah.
Parkour is also known as
Parkour?
PK. Parkour.
Well, no. Just cut the music in right here.
Yeah,
New
so when
single
did
coming
this
soon.
French. It's a French word.
Parkour's development from military training gives it some aspects of non-combative martial art. Interesting.
Well, that is interesting, Danny, which is a perfect little segue into our next little chunk here.
Dang. Oh, that's interesting. We've moved it to the back of the show, everyone. We hope you don't mind. Today, I found a great article about, let me see here. I'm going to be sharing our, oh, that's interesting. This article is about Hillary Duff. No, just joking.
I was like, what?
I was really hoping that was the case.
Okay, so bonus Game of Thrones topic.
Yes, let's talk about some Game of Thrones.
Yes. Okay. So, just in case, I don't think we'll get too into spoilers, but just be warned we're up to season 3, episode 8. If you haven't gotten that far,
I really just don't know what to tell you with Game of Thrones at this point.
I feel like if you like Game of Thrones, you have to be caught up.
Yeah.
Who is sitting and waiting on the last season?
What kind of person would do something like that, George Seachy?
But then also, it's like if you don't watch Game of Thrones and you just see memes all the time, it's not really gonna matter
really
to
matter.
you. You know what I mean? It doesn't really.
Yeah.
True.
Not a huge deal.
If you're not caught up, stay off the internet.
Yeah, it's
So,
kind of a phenomenon.
This is an article hot off the presses, May 6th, 2019.
Wow.
It's from express.co.uk, and the title of this article is Game of Thrones George R.R. Martin is sad about how show ends. I would prefer this.
Is that a clickbaity title?
Dumb.
I feel like I've read this one.
It's super clickbaity, but let me read a little bit of this for you. Game of Thrones is drawing to a dramatic close on TV, but for the first time, audiences and critics are not united in adulation. Season 8, Episode 3's Battle of Winterfell is one of the lowest rated in the show's history.
Wow.
With many comments agreeing the show has lost its bite, daring, and focus. This is actually true. On IMDb right now, it is the lowest rated episode of Game of Thrones.
That's rough.
Pretty good. I mean, it
was hard to see the first time around, so I could understand why people would be so upset.
It's definitely the least logical battle I've seen in the entire series. And, I mean, obviously it's against undead whites, but it's...
Yeah.
Just the planning aspect of how it goes out is dumb.
The more illogical part is not the zombies, but the people. That's
the people are the ones that act dumb. Yeah.
You're making some bad choices.
Put the trench in front of your forces, back of your forces, so it really makes no impact. And if anything, it blocks you when you have to retreat.
It blocks your retreat,
Yeah, I think people are a little upset because for the first time, it seems like Game of Thrones is putting kind of like set piece in front of plot.
Yeah. Oh,
and up until now, it's all felt so like there's never been one where it's like, oh, you just had to do this, didn't you? A couple of people are upset about the White Walkers dying already, but
I was down for it.
It's also there's 3 episodes left.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get done with it. Let's get on.
There's
to the rest
so
of the story.
much more interesting stuff with Cersei going on than the White Walkers, to be honest. And they've been they've been building the entire series, and it's like really. What do they...
Since the first scene of the
first
first
scene
episode.
of the episode, yeah.
Like, the only thing I would have changed, and this is, just me shooting stuff off, but...
Shoot it off, David.
They could have timed it so that all of the stories were resolved in the same episode. So, like, say Winterfell was a wash. They're getting murdered. They get on some horses. They ride out of there or whatever. They figure some way to quickly escape Winterfell. And then they have to go to King's Landing, and for some reason, I don't know, Tyrion's there, Jaime's there. They're like, all right, we have to join forces. This is it. Now there's like millions of them. Mm-hmm. And then like did one huge thing at King's Landing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I'm okay with that part. I think it's a little bit of just like internet rage culture, and that in a year, the IMDb rating will kind of even out.
Yeah.
But people were just so like up in arms about it.
It
seems unnecessary. Anyways, there is always discussion the show may be suffering from no longer being able to draw directly on Martin's unfinished source novels, while the author himself is also much less involved with the television show than he was in the opening seasons. In an interview with 60 Minutes, he explained his input in the final season was limited to several days of story conferences taking place in my home in Santa Fe, New Mexico. That's not a lot of time, man.
No.
Several days? Jeez.
I even think they started that in like season 6 is when they got like the show creators like got the outline for how he wanted it to end. I didn't know it was that brief, but it's like he basically told them, I've heard that there are things that he's told them that they're just not going to go with and like do on their own.
Yeah.
But did not know that the outline had strayed that much.
We also have something about him being... storylines, characters continue to diverge in the books. He'd been more vocal about it. And he said, of course, you have an emotional reaction. I mean, I would prefer they do it exactly the way I did it, sure. It could also be traumatic because sometimes their creative vision and your creative vision don't match. And you get the famous creative differences thing. That leads to a lot of conflict. Of course, he doesn't really get into the big details, but he does have one other thing he says. One of his greatest frustrations... You get totally extraneous things like the studio or the network weighing in, and they have some particular thing that has nothing to do with story, but relates to, well, this character has a very high Q rating, so let's give him a lot more stuff to do. The author had previously said he would have liked the show to run across more series to give all his complex storylines room. Instead, the HBO team entirely removed some characters or reassigned storylines. The series has been not completely faithful. Otherwise, it would have run another 5 seasons.
Sure. Yeah, if it was going with all the plot lines.
Which would have had a lot of opportunities to drop the ball, you know?
Well, can you run a show for that long?
I feel like 10's the magic number with Game of Thrones. If there were 2 more seasons, full seasons, 10 episodes, I feel like they really could have let all of the things that they developed breathe.
Yeah.
It's that difference between like American TV series and British TV series. You know, the British keep it like short and sweet.
Yeah.
Like they tend to have like really short seasons. I think they call them series, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they call them series.
Yeah, and they do it really short versus like Americans will just like keep something going on for 15, 16, 18 seasons if they need to.
What dramatic story has lasted 10 seasons and been quality the entire time?
How many seasons is Breaking Bad? Because that's what I keep...
4?
Breaking Bad's like 6.
That's what I keep looking to as like my thermometer for how Game of Thrones is going to end. I just keep saying like, I don't think they're going to Breaking Bad it.
Sopranos 10 seasons?
Nail it.
No, Sopranos is like 4 or something.
Is it only 4 seasons?
I don't know.
Super short.
I haven't seen
awesome.
Sopranos. Let me look.
I thought it was more than that.
That same Lizzie McGuire fan who's been listening this whole time is really upset now because they love Sopranos.
They love Sopranos also. They're like, it's 6, you idiots.
Yeah. You don't know anything about Gordo. You don't know anything about Tony Soprano.
Have some respect for James Gandolfini.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to think also of to be fair, there's not much precedent for a fantasy show that's had this much clout.
6 seasons.
6 seasons.
And I thought that was long.
I don't know, man. I think Xena Warrior Princess had a following that was unlike anything.
Really?
Even bigger than Game of Thrones, I would say.
Really?
No, that's all sarcasm.
Okay.
I don't think any of that. I was trying to get as straight face as I could for that one.
I mean, I totally bought it up until you
I
started.
did too. I was like, I was a baby when that came out.
No, I mean, I don't think there's been anything this level of fantasy epic. Plenty of sci-fi examples.
Oh, for sure.
But fantasy's always kind of been lame.
Especially being on a premium channel, on a service that like people have to pay to watch, rather than basic cable or anything like accessible or something. I think it's pretty crazy to think of. I personally think that if The Walking Dead had been on HBO, I think things would have ended a lot earlier.
Maybe they would have killed that stupid baby.
Probably would have killed that stupid baby.
Walking Dead in particular, too, is a whole nother thing because Walking Dead was written to never end.
Yeah.
Like the comic book. That's what that guy's been saying for years, Kirkman.
He never wants his end.
Yeah, he's saying it's a zombie story that doesn't have an ending because that was the inspiration. Like you watch a zombie movie, at the end some people get away, and then you don't know what happens to them. What if we just make something where it never stops and you just keep going? You just keep going.
That's a nice idea.
Which is a pretty good idea for a comic book. I don't know if it translates to television as well.
Especially when you lose 4 of your main characters.
Yeah. Well, like, that's right. People get bored. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't want to work the same job.
Over a decade, it gets tough.
Well, and that's another thing to think about Game of Thrones. If you had a 10-season arc, and you have someone like Jon Snow, like Kit Harington would have to sign on for, 12, 15 years of his life to be Jon Snow. It's like Robert Downey Jr. in Avengers. It's like you only do so much.
That's true. That man gave us 10 years.
10 years of Iron Man. That's insane. That's a lot to ask an actor to just like become one role.
Yeah, 2009.
Yeah, 2009 is when the first Iron Man came out.
How long was God, I can't believe I can't remember his name. Wolverine. How long was he Wolverine for?
For almost 15 years, I'd say.
I think
2001.
Did he beat him?
I think so. I feel like he was Wolverine for a long time.
He was Wolverine in 2001. That's when X-Men came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has the record for the longest running comic book character.
Logan or Days of Future Past was the last one with him? Or what? Or
Logan. Logan came out after Days of Future Past. He wasn't in Apocalypse. Apocalypse was the first X-Men movie without Wolverine at all, which speaks for itself.
It's a pretty bad movie.
Yeah. It's not the best.
It's not. It's not as bad as X3.
Oh, yeah, there's worse X-Men movies, but it's definitely in that lower pantheon.
Ooh, it did not pan out.
X movies.
I don't know if I saw Apocalypse. Brandon, that microphone hit was for you.
I like the fact that it's in the 80s and it's the core, the core X-Men, like Cyclops is back and they're all like young. That's cool. But it's just another story about big purple guy who comes to destroy the world.
Ultimate baddie.
And how are we going to defeat him?
And then they defeat him.
Oh, we did it.
At the last second.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's...
Battle of Winterfell.
Yeah. I'm sure we learn a little bit of something about friendship and being different, too.
Yeah, exactly.
We're all different, and that's what makes us the same.
Yeah. Well, that's the X-Men, right?
Yeah.
That's their story. Well, that's pretty much the rest of this article. There is something about...
Anything about the coffee cup?
No, nothing about that. Well,
It was, yeah.
I read that, yeah, they digitally removed it today. They got
did
rid of
they?
it. Yeah.
Ooh,
So,
I wanted
it's
to watch
gone.
again. Wow.
We saw it yesterday, but...
They digitally
It's
removed
never
it and
gone.
replaced it with that little like ET.
Oh, that'd be hilarious. But it's never gone from our hearts.
That's crazy because I've
It's
actually...
like a Dunkin' Donuts cup now.
That's the only like production flaw, blatant production flaw I think I've ever seen on the series.
There's another one.
Really?
There's a scene in the throne room, and it's like the whole cast, and Jaime Lannister is holding like a Coke, like a...
Wow.
It's like a cup, but he's holding like a cardboard cup, like
Nice.
from craft services or something.
That's amazing.
So I don't know. I think that's pretty hilarious. But this one, yeah, that one blew up, dude. The only thing he says here, he admits that there will be still some variations. Because he had already told them the main points of the ending a long time ago. Certain secondary characters, there may be big differences. He also admits this primarily due to the increasingly overdue final 2 books in the series. Some of the deviation, of course, is because I've been so slow with these books. I really should have finished this thing 4 years ago. And if I had, maybe I would be telling a different story here.
I mean, yeah, dude.
Well, yes. Obviously, yes.
I mean, you cannot
yeah.
complain if you've had so much time.
Yeah.
You've had since season 5 to get another book out, which was 5 years ago.
And why adapt a story that's just not done yet?
Yeah.
Just doesn't make
It
sense.
is
to me.
risky business.
I feel like they thought they had enough time because they were like, okay, we've got at least 4 years.
They hit season 3 or 4 and they were like,
Hey, George.
hey,
Yeah.
how's that book coming
And
along?
Dance with Dragons came out the same time season 5 came out, if
Yeah.
I remember correctly. It was like right around the same time, maybe like a month after. And so they must have talked with him and it's like, what's going on in this book? We need to know what's going on with season 5. So, I mean, you really can't complain. George, you started this in 96.
Yeah. Also, I feel like the outline should have been pretty much done.
Yeah.
Even if the book's not written, like, sure, the dialogue might not be as good, but shouldn't the story all be there?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
how are there this many things up in the air? How much of the story does he really have planned out?
And I think that's the dialogue for me is the easiest thing to point to.
Yeah.
In concern of the dip in quality in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Because in the earlier seasons, like every little conversation
Yeah.
is super hot fire. It's all so good. Like every word kind of coming out of everybody's mouth is so good, except for Sansa.
To be fair, we haven't... yeah.
Dang,
To be fair,
Sansa
we
Burn.
have not talked about the last one, episode 4.
Oh,
that just
episode
happened.
4? Yeah, we just watched episode 4.
And if I could just give a blanket statement, I would say I absolutely loved it because I felt like it was... I mean, there's obviously some small things here and there, but I feel like overall it was the closest feeling to old political Game of Thrones
True.
that I've gotten in the last 2 seasons for sure. A lot of loose ends tied up, some made, but then also, I mean, dramatically, there was enough time with the runtime for things to breathe, like some scenes to breathe. There were some things I wish didn't happen like they did. Ghost got treated really badly.
Oh, yeah, poor
God.
Ghost.
That was so messed up.
I don't
man.
even like thinking about that.
It was a
man.
bad old Yeller treatment.
I didn't mind the episode for sure. I enjoyed it. There's just a few like little things about it. The first one is the ghost thing.
Yeah.
Not him even getting left, but the ghost is now considerably smaller than he was.
Oh yeah,
Like
They've
when
never
they were,
gotten that right.
When they were at Castle Black, he was like huge. When they were like fighting off the wildlings over there.
So it
Even
happens when
Summer
you don't
looked huge.
Save your settings.
I guess, right? Which also cracks me up because this is like I had a video game joke planned, but it's like the party is tired of traveling across the map, so they're just fast traveling everywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They're just like,
there's-
let's go to King's Landing.
This is the most rushed feeling
Yeah.
of Game of Thrones
It's
I've
just
had.
quick.
And yeah, and to cut it down to 6 episodes is kind
Yeah.
of a bit much.
Well,
you know what I mean?
To me, the episode length, like 6 episodes, whatever. But what I'm not getting is like old Game of Thrones or the beginning of it. It was planned out so that
Oh,
if
yeah.
Robb Stark was traveling somewhere for months, that there was story that was going along the way. Whereas now it's just like, we need this person in this setting and we need him there right now.
Yep.
And then, oh no, now we need him all the way on the other side.
Yeah.
Oh, let's just get him there right now. That part really bothers me.
Daenerys went from the north to Dragonstone to King's Landing
Yeah.
in the same
In, like, 40
episode.
minutes. Yeah, it was crazy.
In the same episode. But then Jon didn't get there at the same time because it's going to take him 2 weeks.
So what is the, and you have to establish that there's some kind of traversal of time.
Yeah.
Whereas we just don't even know.
And it used to be like people would be traveling between cities for like seasons. You know what I mean?
I mean,
Yeah.
Rob was on the campaign for 2 seasons.
Just
3
think about
seasons?
how long it took Catelyn Stark and Tyrion to get to what is it?
yeah,
River
the
Run?
Vale.
Yeah.
To the Vale. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Or
Yeah.
Arya getting to traveling with a hound when they
True.
were going to the Vale.
Yeah.
When
That
they
was
got their
forever.
whole,
Whole
they
season,
developed their
I
whole
think.
weird relationship.
Yeah. That was really crazy. So
Brienne and Jaime totally paid off in my opinion. I
Yeah.
feel like that was awesome because it was like a small romance that like built up 8 seasons that just had enough time to breathe, and you're just like, oh my god, yeah, this is great. They have
They
a
just
chance.
survived the last day on Earth.
Yeah, and he broke her heart, and it was like,
yeah, it's pretty rough.
I love that Jamie just remembers he's like a POS. He's like, oh yeah, I'm a
Yeah.
terrible person. Yeah.
Well, I
Never
think
mind.
he also might feel like maybe he doesn't deserve any kind of other life.
yeah.
Like he's got to go wrap this up.
he knows he needs to either rid the world of himself and Cersei. I think he's trying to take them both out at once.
Yeah.
He knows he's not coming back, and he knows
Well, Tyrion is the best Lannister, you know?
Yeah, I might as well keep him.
yeah.
Maybe he'll end up being married to
I
Sansa.
straight up thought he was dying at the end of that.
That'd be weird.
That episode.
It seemed like it.
I was like, here it is.
Well, there's one more thing I have from George R.R. Martin, actually, and this was a quote that I just found today. And I don't know when this quote was. This could have been from a long time ago. One dragon in recorded history has been brought down from the air by a projectile,
Meraxes.
and it was a 1 in a million shot. A mature dragon in the air is virtually invulnerable.
Yeah.
Which also, like, I don't know, that scene didn't, like, it was just weird.
But had anybody built one of those giant crossbows
Yes.
before?
That's
you know what I
true.
mean?
In-
Oh, really?
Yes, that's in Dorne. That was
there we go.
Meraxes, who was Rhaenys. Okay, so Aegon the Conqueror.
I'm really glad you're here right now.
Right? He's got this covered.
Aegon the Conqueror had 2 sister wives,
Okay.
Rhaenys and Visenya. Okay, Rhaenys was like a warrior princess. Anyways, 2 of the times...
Oh, just like Xena.
2 of the times that the Targaryens tried to take Dorne into the fold of the 7 kingdoms, they were bamboozled. So one of the times they showed up flying on the dragons, no one was there. All the armies were just underground or hidden, and the only one was there was Oberyn Martell's grandmother, who was this big fat lady sitting on a throne, and she was just like blind and deaf. And then she was talking to Rhaenys, and she says like, our house words are unbowed, unbent, and broken. You will never have us like bend to. And she's like, well, I'm not just going to kill this old lady. So she flies back. They come back a couple months later after the campaign's furthered and they've gotten almost all the kingdoms into the reach. And when Rhaenys tries to go back to Dorne, kind of the same thing happens, but a 1 in a million shot shoots Meraxes, her dragon, in the eye. And that's the only way they got it down. And they got it down and they killed Rhaenys.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
1
this
in a million shots.
In this one, they hit him 3 times.
I know. Precisely. And then they
Yeah.
miss 6 times while it's going right at him.
Yeah, there's a lot of this, like, I don't know. It's just for show. Like,
Yeah,
it's
totally dramatic.
TV
Yeah,
drama.
TV drama. So that's a little bit of a bummer. I have a sneaking suspicion that Game of Thrones isn't going to pull it off. They're not
I
going to
know. I'm
stick the
kind of
landing,
scared.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of feels like that at this point.
Right?
I was satisfied with that episode, but I am scared how they're going to handle the big things.
Well, I think part of it too is that the internet's really like messed us up in that every time anything happens, it's studied and detailed and 1,000, and all these people dream up all these crazy theories, and there's no way any of that could ever live up to anyone's expectation. Like, and I heard something about last week's episode today, which I thought was really interesting, but that Euron's probably going to pick up on something because Tyrion told Cersei in front of all of them that she needs to think about her baby, but there's no way that Tyrion would know about that baby because she just told Euron a couple days before.
Yeah.
So he would have had to have known that she was pregnant before Euron was there.
I hope they do that.
That would be cool.
I hope it's just not some loose end that's just sitting there. They're like, wait, how would this work time-wise?
Yeah.
You know?
So
I don't know. I am a little worried. And you're right.
Just Euron sitting in his chambers like, hold on a second.
you were only pregnant for 6 months.
I honestly have this kind of sneaking suspicion that no one is going to actually get to kill Cersei except for Euron, and then they're going to be trying to kill Euron. Because
Interesting.
I think he's going to try and seize power somehow, and then they're going to...
Oh.
You know what I mean?
I could see it being Jaime. I could also see it being Arya in like Qyburn's face.
Well, that would be tight.
Yeah. I don't know.
Man, I don't know.
It's
I
crazy.
am worried.
There's a
worried.
lot of stuff
That would
going
be
on.
pretty satisfying.
We got to see how
Just
they...
Arya just ending everything,
And it
all
just
of it.
really seems like this next episode is when we're going to wrap things up. I feel like anyways.
This
like,
is
we're
the
gonna,
battle,
We're going to
and
know what happens.
Yeah.
And then the last episode's gonna maybe be like
Tying up the loose
Tying up
ends.
stuff.
I think it's gonna be in the future.
That's kind of what I'm
Yeah.
hoping for.
I really do think so.
But we'll have to see, man. I mean, they would be dumb not to leave this episode on a cliffhanger.
Miguel Sapochnik, the director that has done all the big battles,
Yeah.
is the next director for episode 5.
Yeah.
And then the Double D's, the showrunners who directed the first episode,
Or do the
are
last
doing
one,
the
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Amelia Clark said that this next battle is going to be bigger than the Battle of Winterfell.
And there have been no production photos leaked or anything, so no one really knows about this battle, what's going to happen. So I'm kind of
It's
excited.
crazy.
I mean, as much as the quality's dipped in the writing, like, I'm still excited to see
Yeah.
how it's going to end.
Yeah.
We'll just be done
It's
with
great.
it.
It's still good.
I'd say this season is like, you know, it's got. I mean, the first 2 episodes really ramped up like really well, and then like episode 3 just kind of like had this big dip. It's got like spectacle and all that, and then I feel like this dramatic part of like episode 4 really
Yeah, I thought it was
kind of
good.
brought my expectations back up with some hiccups here and there.
I enjoyed episode 4 for the most part.
Yeah,
To me, it'll be great. It just depends on the last episode. Like if the last episode's fantastic, then this whole season will be awesome.
yeah.
If the last episode is oof, then everyone's gonna be like, man, Game of Thrones sucked for the last 3
Fuck.
seasons. Like
And
it's gonna get even worse.
All right. It's
Screw
cool.
the
I got
landing
time,
up.
man.
Yep, there's another dollar.
Dang, that's a good one.
I will say there was one thing we will be expecting is I know the actor who played Rhaegar Targaryen in the flashbacks also showed up for this season.
Weird.
So there will be some kind of flashback. I'm hoping it's like the Battle of the Trident between him and Robert Baratheon. So I don't know what it is, but we're going to get some cool flashbacks for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
And before we stop talking about Game of Thrones, can we just get a quick shout out for Pod for pulling those 2 ladies in the background?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
Pod
he
should
was
sit on the Iron
just
Throne.
coordinating a throughway around the Hound.
Pod should win, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pod should be on the throne.
How come that guy's not a knight? It's messed up.
Pod the Rod. That's right. They should have knighted him after the Battle of Winterfell.
Everyone else got knighted. Even Sam. No, I'm just joking.
Justice.
All right. Well, I think
Yeah, for reals. Everybody that survived the Battle of Winterfell should have been
Right?
knighted.
Arya should have been a knight.
Yeah. I agree.
Because she's not a lady.
I don't think she would take it though, because then she'd have to fight with honor.
You
know what I mean?
Oh, that's true. That's not her. That's not her thing.
No snide tricks.
Well, I think it's Peeps and Predicts time, everyone.
PMP.
Cue it.
Let's see here. I'll take the peep today if that's okay with y'all.
I'm going to grab this first predict. I'll leave
Cayenne.
this here for the second one, Daniel.
What? Not only is this a predicament, it's one we've already done.
Oh, that should just be in there.
Who's more likely to appear on the cover of Time magazine?
Oh yeah, we had
Yeah,
that.
that was
that was the
that's
winner.
the
Bernie
game
Sanders
winner.
win.
Oh,
That was the
man.
Batman dethroner.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Okay, once more.
Best predict ever.
This one's really stupid. Captain Planet versus John Cena.
So this is a
dated.
weird matchup.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like John Cena doesn't have the internet clout he did.
No.
Like even a year ago.
He's getting right down there with Chocolate Rain.
Oh, that's rough. You
Yeah,
don't want to be
wait.
in Chocolate Rain territory. What are we doing, Frank?
Well, another place you wouldn't want to be is a traffic jam, gentlemen. And who would handle a traffic jam better?
Who
I'd
is
say
it?
Captain Planet. He can fly.
He seems like a chill dude.
You just get out of
Okay,
there.
well that's a great point. Captain Planet can just fly.
Yeah. Would he even be in a car?
or
because
turn everybody
also-
into
he
trees
would never be in a
like
car.
Don Cheadle.
He wouldn't be in a car because it's greenhouse
against-
gas emissions.
What if he,
And if
he
anything,
for
he-
sure drives a Prius.
He might clean it
Tesla.
up. You know what I mean?
Captain Planet would drive a Tesla.
Captain Planet
Yeah.
bikes wherever he's going. Let's be real. Like,
Yeah. John Cena, I don't know. I don't know if he has any skill set that would be good.
I feel like he would drive a Hummer.
Like, I feel like wrestlers have
He'd
bad
be trying
temperaments.
to like merge into the lane he needs to get to, and people wouldn't let him in. He'd be like, "Oh, you can't see me!"
right?
That's
I
awesome.
could see that, yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely see
I
that.
could see that. I don't know. I just think that wrestlers are given a temperament that they're supposed to be angry easy. I
I mean, but for the
angered
most part,
easily.
they're playing a role. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and they seem like they're mostly really cool
Yeah.
dudes.
So
but-
the guys with the brain damage, and then you murder yourself and your family.
That's
and
true.
That'll happen.
It happens.
Wow. Got to take it to a dark place. But I think Captain Planet, there's no argument.
Yeah,
there.
he would
can
not
just
even
fly.
be in a car.
Obviously.
He could just fly.
For other reasons, whether principles or just physics, he would not be in a car.
Great. I love when the group comes together. All right, what's the next one?
All right. Predict number 2. Well, I mean, who's more likely to create world peace?
Oh, John Cena.
We were in the same place.
Unanimous decision.
This is tough to say because there's two
Is
ways.
it though?
Well, let me give you the counter argument, okay? Because I already know you guys are thinking, well, Captain Planet, obviously,
He's our hero.
but people aren't down to prevent climate change. Like, how do we know that Captain America,
a lot of them.
Captain Planet could even get everyone on the same side?
Have you seen that Funny or Die skit where Don Cheadle
Don
plays
Cheadle?
Captain Planet?
Yes,
That's how he just turns everybody into trees. All the doubters, trees,
true.
trees.
Well, I guess that would be that would settle it.
That's how you
The
nip
world
that
would
right
be
in the bud.
peaceful.
I feel like Captain Planet could be a very conflicted villain if he wanted to be.
Yeah, he
You know
totally
what I mean?
could.
He could solve all the problems
He
in
could
a
just
second.
like get to a point where he realizes mankind is doing more destruction. They can't be saved.
And try to get rid of half of them in just a snap.
That would be a cool movie, man. We should make it like 3 hours.
Real talk though, where's the Captain Planet live action reboot?
I've heard there was one happening.
I don't know.
Quick, I'm gonna research this. Let's discuss this.
You're just gonna find the Don Cheadle thing.
Yeah, for sure. That's what's gonna happen. I'm pretty sure there's a part 2 they put out a few years
Well,
back.
in an idealized world, I would say Captain Planet. In the real world, I don't know. I don't know if people would buy into it. Like, people are so entrenched in their belief.
That fracking's good for us.
Yeah.
Even though Oklahoma had like 900 or 300 and some earthquakes.
Here's some startling truth for you all. There is only one political party in the world that denies climate change.
Us.
Yeah.
The GOP.
Isn't that insane? That's crazy. Well, you know what? I take back my argument then, because even in like the Paris Climate Accord, there's only 3 countries that aren't in it: the United States,
So like most
Syria, and
most
some other
people
one.
would be on
Most
board.
people are
David.
down. And then Captain Planet's also that like seafoam green. Who's not down for that?
It's
or is
just
he blue?
the standard measuring
He's
system,
like
folks. You got to worry about.
He's a teal.
He's a teal, right?
Yeah, he's
it's
like
like a
teal.
greenish blue, right? I
It
can't.
really
I can't-
changes on the lighting.
I
I think
can't
it's like
see him in my head
a
anymore.
Caribbean Ocean kind of color.
I always got like a toothpaste vibe.
Interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
I could see that.
Well, while
Depending
Danny's
on your
looking this
brand
up,
loyalty.
are we good? Are we good with saying Captain Planet's the winner for today?
Obviously, Captain Planet. We both went
He's-
for the same joke that just shows
He's our
how
hero.
ridiculous. I'll ask you this question, like as a follow up to your question, David. How would John Cena bring about world peace? Feel like a foundation?
I don't know. Look,
Foundations don't do anything.
he's not even the best wrestler for the job. Like, Dwayne Johnson's going to bring world peace before John Cena. And he's going to be our next president.
I would say that this film is
Yeesh.
has been through development heck.
Oh, okay.
But
Drops an F-bomb but bleeps out hell.
all right, so it's kind of like it's in the writing stage, I guess. So it's like none of these versions came to pass. In October 2016, it was reported that Paramount Pictures and Leonardo DiCaprio's Appian Way.
Oh,
Leonardo
sorry.
I know.
DiCaprio.
I thought I know what you were saying.
Yeah.
I wanted to make it a little dramatic. We're attempting to develop a new movie and is in negotiations with Jono, Matt, and Glenn Powell to write the script. So that was in 2016,
Okay.
3 years ago. So I don't think it's happening.
It's not happening. It's not happening.
I don't think they can compete with anything that's coming out
And
right
it's
now.
maybe too hokey.
I mean, there's just no way.
Like the kids and the love ring. Like, maybe it's too much.
If they made it like a funny one, like Shazam,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah,
You know
that
what
could
I mean?
work.
If they make it really like self-aware, dorky movie, then
But then it's going to be like, Democrats are trying to brainwash our kids. Climate change ain't real. How are we going to affect the earth?
Captain
It's
Planet.
giant. Yeah.
Punch a tree through someone's skull.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good stuff.
Oh, wow, that was amazing, guys.
So we still have the Burn Man as the rating
Yeah,
champ,
man.
right?
Bernie
He's burning it
is
up.
in the house.
Oh, he
And
would have burned Captain Planet.
I feel conflicted even more than Batman. I feel like I can't.
Interesting.
Oh,
It was a tough one.
Who could lead a seance? And I assume better, right? Because I think anybody could lead a
I
seance.
feel like the Burn Man has dipped into spiritualism because he's,
It's true.
You might have dropped acid at some point.
yeah.
He is Jewish,
What does that mean,
and
David?
we know that there are Jewish seances from that movie, The Orphan.
Oh, it's a good movie.
The orphan.
Isn't that the one with the Jewish seance? That's
No,
another
the
movie.
Orphan is the one with the.
That's the one
lady.
with
She turns out to be an
She's a
old
little
lady.
person,
Are you
yeah.
talking
Yeah,
about
the twist
is it
is
the
she's a
Orphanage?
little person.
No, you're thinking
No,
about
some.
the one with the guy that plays the comedian in Watchmen.
Yeah, I think so.
Gosh, The Right or no, that's the one with Anthony Hopkins. Yeah. Researching.
Danny's on it right now.
Yeah, I watch a lot of these horror movies.
But the ride is really good.
That's a good one.
That guy-
That's a really good one.
Jeffrey Dean
Morgan,
Morgan.
and it's like a Jewish
It's
horror
from,
movie.
It's from like the late 2000s or
With
early
the,
20-teens.
Dybbuk. The Dybbuk box, isn't it? The
Dybbuk.
Possession.
The Possession.
That's a great movie.
That's what it is.
That's a really good movie. Wow, I have to pay to watch this thing?
Well, I feel like I'm really good. I feel like I'm good. That's a really good movie. What? You won't expect me to pay for this?
$4 on YouTube, everyone.
That's not even that much.
That's a $1 movie.
I don't know. I just need to fess up. I'm really confusing exorcism and seance right now. Those are two totally different things.
Yeah, same world.
Yeah,
for sure.
same
Like,
world.
Same.
Same
Definitely
world.
Yeah,
summoning
yeah.
something.
You're
Like
dark
in the
magic.
same store, but they're in different aisles.
Probably shouldn't mess around with it.
Yeah.
Do we have anything about Captain Planet doing a seance? He's not
Well,
even a real person.
Can
yeah,
he
he's not
raise
even a real person,
spirits?
but I will give it that he is like mystical in his own right. Like
Okay.
He has powers.
So he has like for sure whether or
What
not
are
we know
Captain
Bernie's
Planet's
stance on it, we know that
powers?
Captain Planet would be open to the idea of these supernatural
Yeah.
powers. Of these
Does Captain Planet have a soul?
Is he alive?
Does he have a being?
Is he a agent of the planet?
Does he live inside those rings and
Or
then
is
they
he
put
the-
them together? I feel like for a seance to contact the other world, you'd have to have some kind of like tether to this world.
Oh,
That's
check
my
this
only-
out.
that makes sense.
Okay, check this out.
David, that's the most spiritual thing I've ever heard you say.
In situations that the Planeteers cannot resolve alone, they can combine their powers to summon the title superhero, Captain Planet.
Okay.
A superhero who possesses all of the powers magnified. Once his work is done, Captain Planet returns to the planet and leaves viewers with the message, the power is yours.
Oh, that's right, because it's fire, wind,
Yeah.
water, heart.
So really it's the Planeteers, and they make a Zoid, or whatever is it?
We're the Planeteers.
Well, he's
Yeah.
almost
you
like
can be one too.
a golem.
Saving the planet is
Like,
the
did
thing
they
to
like
do.
create him, or was
Using
he
and
around before
abusing
them?
is not the way. I'm pretty sure it is.
Oh my goodness!
Hear what Captain Planet has to say. Sorry, okay, I'm done.
Wow.
I had to get the cadence in there.
I'm not just gonna hang on for that phrase, y'all. I'm gonna get you there.
So their rings are really the source. I mean, they magnify who they are. So essentially it's the Planeteers who are really doing the work. Sounds like corporate.
I don't
Well,
know.
no, I think from you saying like he has all the powers amplified, that makes him the more powerful one.
of
Oh,
the
yeah,
rings,
yeah.
Yeah.
of the rings together. But he is the Earth, right?
Yeah, he embodies all
Yeah, I
their
imagine him
powers.
as being like
Well,
Gaia. You know what I mean?
Gaia is in Captain Planet.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's voiced by Whoopi Goldberg.
So,
Spirit of the
That's
planet.
so cool.
Sends
Man.
5 magic rings, 4 with the power to control any element of the
Whoopi
nature.
Goldberg, the star of
Sister
Sister
Act
Act 2,
2.
Back in the Habit.
Why do they keep coming back? We just should keep playing like 6 degrees of Sister Act.
6 degrees of Sister Act 2. Back in the habit. I'm down. That's
Wow.
that's the new ending segment.
I just got this idea for a WeDAP shirt. We're just gonna have Frank in a habit and just Sister Act.
Whoa, can
Back
we
in the
can we
habit.
Photoshop the cover of Sister Act 2 but
I'm getting Mary
replace
on it.
Just
Whoopi
all
with
she can
Frank?
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. She can do it.
me's. Let's do this.
Wow.
Just a bunch of me's.
Wow.
I gotta vote for Bernie, and my reason why is
I'm gonna say
because I just feel like Captain Planet is not an actual person. He might be like a godly entity, or in this case, Earth spirit.
You know what? I like your idea of having to be tethered.
It just makes.
Wait a
oops.
second. In a second. Or no, in a sense.
Wait a second.
Really hung up on
In a second, we'll get back to it.
Hang on that. So, in a sense, the kids have to conduct some sort of seance to summon
It's not even like
Whoa.
a seance, because a seance, there's a whole ritual, and they literally are just
But it is
like,
a ritual.
This one.
Okay.
This one.
I see what Danny's saying, though. A group of people have to come together to have
Well,
a
they summon
ritual
him.
to summon something.
But not every summoning is a seance.
But could a summonee be the summoner? Is the question.
Oh, I see. You're saying he, the spirit, probably
That is a good
can't
question,
summon.
though.
Like, could you bring with a seance, bring like 5 ghosts, and those ghosts bring a seance?
I feel like
a
Captain
pyramid seance
Yeah.
is what you're talking about here?
Get 5 more friends.
Look, the seance starter pack is $150, but if you get 4 people down here, I'm going to give you a discount on this thing. Now, I've already put in a lot of money myself.
I'm telling you, man, you will be in the upper echelons before you know it.
Just
Well, what if
Bluetooth-
Captain Planet
Bluetooth
summons
headset the
something
whole time.
greater? What if he summons Jesus?
Wow.
Did you say greater or lamer?
Wow. Hot
I said
takes.
faker.
Oh my
Faker, there you
god. It keeps getting
Scorching.
Yes.
It gets more and more brutal.
I wore the right shirt today.
I don't think that Captain Planet can summon anything. I don't think he ever did it in the show.
I don't know.
Honestly, I watched
He's the ultimate.
so much Captain Planet, but
I
it was
did.
so long ago. There's like, since I watched Captain Planet, there's been no viewing of an episode
I just
since then, I'm
remember
pretty
the
sure.
costumes. That's all I
Right.
remember.
I remember the villains.
and the Pigman.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
the Pigman.
Pigman, dude.
I feel like I'm mistaking Captain Planet with Freakazoid in my mind when I try and remember.
Those are very different shows.
I know.
Yeah, two
I like
very
It's not
Freakazoid
even
better.
the same
but-
channel.
So I would say the Burn Man, because I don't think that Captain Planet can summon, unless he's with the Planeteers, in which they probably can summon something together. But
I think there's been some very good questions posed today, and I'm very excited about it.
Yeah. I think we got deeper than usual.
Can the summonee be the summoner?
you tell
Do
us in
you
the
have
comments.
to be tethered to summon? How lame is Jesus really?
now I want a black
Wow.
metal Captain Planet shirt too.
Yeah.
I just want him like coming out of like a pentagram with the 5 kids. You know what I mean? Like
that would be really
Wouldn't that be
good.
dope?
We are
Yeah,
getting
that
so
would be
many
really
shirt
good.
ideas today.
We gotta
We're
get
gonna
on this merch train just so I can see
Yeah,
these things.
next
glad
weekend
it's on
we got
tape.
merch. Can that be a PK shirt?
I would be
Captain Planet
down,
being summoned.
dude. Just have him have like black
Yeah.
metal corpse paint and
Whoa.
stuff.
I think we're writing the Captain Planet movie right now, everyone.
We should
We've
sell this
done
to
it.
Netflix.
Yes.
Yeah, let's
us
turn
on
this
it.
thing off. We got work to do.
All right.
The
so
Burn Man.
Burn Man.
Birdman.
4 more podcasts. 4 more, at least.
At
2-0,
least,
2-0. See with a clearer vision.
Yeah.
Burn.
No more Batman. That's honestly the silver lining to
yeah.
every episode. for
Well,
me
what's
at
funny
this
is I
point.
put like 6 more Batman in here, and just to be legit, it's like Batman Begins, like
Oh, no.
Batman,
That
Kevin
is
Conroy, the
smart, though,
animated
because then we know
series.
which Batman we're talking about.
Yeah.
It upsets me how much I know about Batman at this point. I'm gonna be honest. Like as I
Yeah.
said that sentence, I realized how much Batman knowledge I've gained, and I
Yeah.
didn't want
It's a lot.
any of it.
It's all because of editing.
Yeah, I
You
just
gotta-
listened to you guys.
You
Talk
had to
about
listen
Batman.
to like 8 hours of Brandon and I talking about Batman at least.
Yeah, it's not
That's
the
a
greatest thing in
lot.
the world.
I love it.
I don't like it.
Well, everyone, check out the channel. Check out some Apollo City comics if you're into comics.
Oh yeah, follow David and Frank and Beans
Yeah.
and Apollo City Comics on Instagram.
At David and Frank and Beans. At Apollo CC.
And if you get on the David and Frank and Beans Facebook page, I'm going to be spitting out hot fire Game of Thrones memes for at least 2 more weeks because that's all we have left.
Those memes are fire.
After that, I'm done. I'm hanging up the meme. No, I'm not. I'm going to figure something else out.
Also, check out our recent Avengers character limit exceeded.
Yeah, I was really pleased with that one,
Was it
man.
pretty tight?
And pleased with the movie as well.
Movie was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's better ending than Game of Thrones is going to have.
Ooh, that's a hot take.